You know,
Yeah.
failed to tell, I thought I had, but I failed to tell Mary to put the seasons meet, the summer meeting for the seasons on here. So if you want to add that on at the end, or I can bring it up as town manager update if you want.
Well, we were talking about, like, we'll do that in August.
So
I
it's
know,
too
but we have
early,
to,
or,
but we have
Yeah,
to
we
set,
still
we have
have
to set a
that,
date.
Yes.
so I'll bring it up in my meeting
Bring it up
and
in
discuss
my
it, or you want to add it on
Yes.
the agenda?
Bring it up and we'll discuss it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll bring that up first, that way I won't forget it. The other thing is, Stuart McConnell is not going to be able to make it tonight, so you won't be able to act on this appointment. And the Allstate Materials did not get their information in. He said to me, just emailed me tonight, I'm sorry I couldn't get it in. I've got the signed contract ready to go, and I'm recalculating. So I said, we just put it off on to the next. It's not costing us anything. So.
Yeah, and in this room, Denny, if we can have them
I can fix it.
change the temperature at 777.
So we can't seem to get this thing to run.
We can't get the AC to kick on
You got it?
at all.
There's one more thing. Are we on record or anything?
Yeah.
Yes.
We gotta start the meeting. Do you want to pause the recording till we start the meeting?
Sure.
I can do that. And- Oh, good.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Belgrade Board of Select Persons meeting for July 5, 2022. I would like to call the meeting to order. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll open the public hearing. Take a motion to open that.
Moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, moved by Carol, seconded by Barbara. All those in favor?
Yes.
That Dan, Barbara, Carol?
Yeah.
Ricky? Ricky's waving like a madman. All right, all those in favor, we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'll take a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Barbara, seconded by Carol. All those in favor, Ricky?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
He's waiting.
Yes. He said yes.
Yeah, can you? I've got you unmuted, Ricky. Can we hear you though?
Yes.
Ah, there you are. Okay, Dan,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
5 yeses. The public hearing is open. So the Board of Select Persons is holding a public hearing tonight on the franchise renewal agreement between the Town of Belgrade and Charter Communications, previously known as Spectrum. The purpose of this hearing is for public comment on the renewable cable agreement. There are a few minor changes to ones that we've had in the past. One of the things that Denny noted was that the previous agreements were for 15 years, and he asked if they could back that off to 10, because we don't know the state of communications. And there weren't any other substantive changes, were
They
there,
changed the
Denny?
insurance from $1 billion to $2 million for those insurances that they did. And, I think that's the only other assumption that changed. Other than that, it changed, but they're all, you have a change markup that was issued before the whole package showed the changes.
Did anyone have any questions on this agreement? What's that?
Hold our public.
Right. Does anyone in the public have anything they'd like to share? and Mary.
Yeah.
Linda, they'll spread it. Linda spread it.
All right, seeing none. I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Barbara, seconded by Carol. All those in favor?
Yeah.
Dan, Rick, Barbara, Carol, and Ricky.
Yes.
Okay, 5 yeses, that is closed. Okay, I'll take a motion to approve the renewal of the cable franchise agreement between the town of Belgrade and Charter Communications.
Second.
So, oh,
Moved in, no, yes, so I technically made it, you seconded it, yes.
I second.
Okay, moved, seconded by Barbara. There's no further discussion. Ricky
yes.
and Barbara.
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
all right, 5 yeses, we're back in for 10.
I'll sign that, get it off. Or I think, no, you guys.
Like I say, I think it's the town manager and, no, that's it.
Yeah, I think it's two.
So we'll get, so I've got a board package, a package here for you guys to sign. So we'll do that.
All right, next up, I will take a motion to open the select board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Barbara, seconded by Carol. All those in favor, Ricky,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Carol.
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses, we are in the official meeting. All right, so the first portion of the meeting is public comment. That's the time when if you have something you'd like to bring to the select board's attention that will not be covered on this evening's agenda, this is your chance to speak. Bruce.
Bruce Kalush. I want to bring up, it's been an ongoing thing for several years now. So the adjoining businesses to the Center for All Seasons are using the parking lot of the Center for All Seasons for their business parking. So if there's a rental or an event going on, they end up having all the parking spots. I think it's something that the board of supervisors should send a letter to the marina and Sadie's and maybe put signs up stating that, you know, this is for, you know, Center for All Season use, not if all others will be towed. I don't know, but something, I feel something should be done. Plus, them vehicles are going in and out when the children are there. So,
Okay, Dennis?
This is not a new problem. It's a problem that we've had going back to my time as first out, when I was first out manager, and then again in 2017 through 19. It was a problem.
2021, I
Initially-
think we had some too.
Basically, what I felt at the time, based on conversations with the board health, was that because it wasn't really a big problem back then, there were a few here, we were getting people once in a while, but it was manageable. Apparently now, it's become quite unmanageable and it's been disrupting in terms of parking, the ability for people that are coming to the Center for All Seasons for events and stuff, for their use of the parking. So I heard about, you know, I talked to Dan Glashy today, he raised the issue to me. Bruce had raised it earlier, and I think Linda's going to say something. It's, so we apparently need to decide what you want to do.
Okay, Linda?
So, yeah, there was a lot of overnight parking Sunday morning when we opened for, when I got there at 7 o'clock in the morning to open for the book sale. That back parking lot was full of cars and none of those people were there for the book sale. And they took up all of the spots out back for the elderly people to not have to walk so far and on uneven ground. I think that there should be signs back there, no overnight parking. And last night, there was a van that stayed there all night and the people were in the van. So there's overnight ride parking, camping going on too. So something needs to be done. I don't really have a big issue with them parking at the far end of the dirt parking lot because they're out of the way. But for them to take up the prime spaces just because they can walk through the swamp and get to the marina is not right. That's not right.
So I'm trying to figure, out why would people be parking there overnight? I get the
They go to
camping.
Point
The
Silent.
what's out?
Okay.
The photo.
And see, we had, the last penal supper we held, we had problems with parking because unfortunately, they took all the hot top spot and half of the dirt spot, so we had no place to park it at all.
Yeah.
So I feel it should be,
Who is it besides Sadie's, what, the marina,
The
not just the
marina.
restaurant, but the whole marina. Yeah, okay.
I think
So I wonder if we
Marina's
should
big.
put a gate across the entrance to the Center for All Seasons. At the end of that road, no,
Oh.
and then have it open when we're open for something.
well, the problem is people use the swimming pool
Yeah.
and the playground.
And the
And
playground.
it's hard to distinguish, see, the big problem is it's hard to distinguish between legitimate use
Right.
and use for going to commercial enterprises or their own private use. So it's really hard to distinguish. But having cars there overnight is not a good thing.
Yeah, so are we gonna take action? We can't take action on this. This is just for
No, we can certainly
discuss.
discuss.
Yeah, okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah, maybe you guys can, I think you guys as a board could have Dennis draw a letter and send it to all businesses.
Well, I think,
Strongly-
you know,
Strongly recommend it. I mean, because, you know, the center is gonna be rented pretty much every weekend, my understanding. It's rentals almost every weekend. So if you're losing all your prime parking spots Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that's when your rentals are. Well, you know, if I'm a renter, I'm, paying to rent that place, I'm gonna be really not happy if I can't have a place to park.
So do we block the walkability from the parking lot to those businesses?
I would start by just sending the businesses a letter.
But so say you make a reservation at Sadie's for dinner, are you gonna get notification from Sadie's that says, by the way, if you can't
Okay.
park here, don't park there?
I think a lot of it, but most of it is the marina and the slopes, because it, it's like last night when I came through after the fireworks at 11 o'clock last night, there was probably a dozen vehicles back there.
People
So-
are beginning to understand that it's available. I know when there was a problem, when I was town manager back in 2009-10, there was a car with a boat that was there every day for, I don't know.
So that's why I'm saying, I would, to get started, I think you guys should, have Dennis draw up a letter, send it to the marina, send it to Sadie's. If people are making reservations at Sadie's, when they're making their reservations, they can say, please do not park at the Center for All Seasons. It's that simple for them. The marina needs to contact all their customers that have boat slips and say, you can't park here.
And
Any
perhaps
ideas
signs
for
with
follow-up?
no overnight parking would help.
Yeah,
The overnight.
I mean, if you're gonna put up signs, it's not about putting up signs, just say,
No parking unless you're.
parking for Center for All
Seasons use
Seasons,
only.
patrons
Center for
only.
All Seasons, Town Beach.
Yeah.
do we have other occasions? I think we just need to be careful. Other occasions when people park at the Center for All Seasons and walk into the village?
No.
I mean,
Well,
we need to,
They could have, I suppose, on 4th of July.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
But-
just saying, I think we need to be careful in making the assumption or making a rule that says it can only be used if you're at the Center for All Seasons. Because parking is going to become more and more of an issue, and I just think we need to think through what decision we're making instead of doing it. I agree, we should put no overnight parking and maybe no parking more than 2 hours unless you're attending an event. Those two, I'm just thinking of,
Well, see, my
let's
fe-
be careful as we talk about it, like, oh, we make this rule and then we realize that there are times when we want to have
well, my
the
fear is-
availability of that space.
My fear is people are using that parking to go downtown, and you got an event that's got 150 people at the center.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just
Now-
saying
now
we need
you're
to
losing
think
your
through.
I think that parking should be only for the Center for All Seasons use, playground, beach, events.
Programs.
That's it.
All right. Linda, did you have something else or was
Yeah, I
that on the
did.
same thing?
Um,
Okay.
There are those slow event ahead signs that are a little on the heavy side. I've retrieved them many times when other people have not retrieved them. And I am suggesting that we should have 4 signs put up that have hinges on them. so that the signs are permanently mounted on the side of the road on, appropriate sign hardware. But they're hinged in the middle so that you can flip it up when it's
Oh.
being used and put it down when it's not being used.
If you remember, those signs that we put up were because we had a person hit by a car.
Right.
Who died?
And so they're supposed to be put 200 foot away. Sometimes they're not. I've gone by
Mhm.
as recently as last summer and seen the signs very close to the driveway, which is not the intent, is to push it back so people can see people coming out.
Did you notice they put the speed limit down?
I've noticed that to
40? I know,
45.
that was just
I did.
Yeah.
2 days ago.
Yeah,
Most recently.
yeah.
So if these were permanently mounted where we want them to be, then it would just take somebody going to,
Would have
I'm
to check
thinking-
with DOT though.
well, we have to for 27.
Right.
But it's not that big of a deal to put up signs. You have to get permission. You have
Right,
to call
yeah,
dig
right.
safe.
We have to make sure the DOT will allow them in there right away.
Yeah.
On 27. Because
I
it's not-
got all of the
it's not a
signs put up
DOT sign,
against,
so.
Which is, I think, where we came into having to have the ones that were removable, because.
I don't remember.
We can
Like I
ask
said, we're just gonna have to
again.
double
I
check.
remember.
it's been 22
Yeah.
years,
Yeah.
or, well,
We
maybe
just have to
not.
double
Those
check.
signs,
I
those
don't
signs that are
recall.
there were put out there in 2000.
Right after that date.
Huh?
It was
Yeah,
right after
after
that
that. I think it was
fatality, yeah.
2010.
Yeah.
Right after the fatal accident.
I mean, I
Was
don't
that
have a problem
before
with it if the state
2010?
wants.
It was right in 10,
It's right around
2009.
Well, why don't we see what we have to do and do you have money in your budget for it? Or is it need? to
We have
come from-
money in the rep reserve.
Is that where it should come from?
I
Okay.
think so.
But I
Because it
don't
also
think
should be on the
we-
West
what we
Road.
need to do.
Yeah, we need 4, 2
Yeah.
for Route 27, actually 3 for Route 27 and 1 for the West Road.
For the west.
For the west.
West
Yeah.
Road,
Come
Oh,
down the
for the
West Road when there's
for
events
the-
at the
for the
park.
village
oh,
meeting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I forgot the village.
it was a 1-lane road.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
yeah, it
The
will,
West Road down that end.
Mhm.
parking's an issue,
Well,
going to be larger.
parking is a huge problem. Has to be resolved sometime. It will be. hopefully. But there were discussions about this when the village green went in. What about the parking? Because you were, well, Carol, you were-
Well,
People
that's-
would have been parking anyway because of all the festivities downtown.
Well, all, especially during 4th of July, when they come to see the fireworks.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem.
I don't think you can make any decision on this tonight because this is just for public comment. This is
Right.
something to really think about, and we don't want to open a can of worms on this.
I'll look into it, just from the sign perspective that Linda raised, see what we have to do if we want to do. And on the other issue of parking, that's something you have to consider. Think about.
I think we should put
See
it
what
on
other
the-
towns-
I think
Put
we
it on
put
the
on the
agenda
agenda
for
for
the
next
next meeting.
meeting. And maybe we notify the Marina and Sadie's and ask them if they can have thoughts, concerns, come to it, whatever, so they are aware that we're discussing things that may impact them and that we need their help on.
So Denny, can we invite someone from both of those businesses to the next
Yeah,
meeting?
Marina and Sadie's are the two. right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And. Yes.
All right, is there anything else for public comment?
Yeah, oh, go ahead,
Oh,
Linda.
sorry, Linda?
So we had suggested some wording changes on the contracts for the Center for All Seasons. And Denny contacted me and asked if we couldn't go through everything and do everything at once. This is my busy time of the year. I have no extra time. This is Dan's busy time of the year, and I really think that the contracts need to be updated right now. It still says emergencies, call Anthony Wilson or Chris Dutel. And we need to have the statement at the bottom, basically defining what a nonprofit is, because there was a nonprofit entity from the Midwest that wanted to use the facility for a celebration of life and wanted it for free. And the nonprofit entity had nothing, well, it was, I guess the son was the owner of the nonprofit entity and the father was the person who passed away. And he was trying to stretch it and not have to pay for the center. So I would really like to at least get this updated so that it's not so out of date, and sometime this fall, the board and Dan will sit down and go through all of the policies.
Remember at the last meeting, there was a question about this, the policy of these forms are so intertwined that you guys wanted everything in one package. But it's a legitimate point that you have a form now that's out of date, and perhaps that should be updated.
So if we bring that back, can we be on the agenda for 2 weeks from now with a proposed amended form?
Yes.
I don't think we can try that.
I have
And then
just a
Carol?
quick public comment. I always like to credit where credit's due, and if anyone was around, in particular, the village last weekend, it was a huge success of people, and it wasn't just summer people, and it wasn't just people that lived in the village. The people that come to these events, and they come because they find it attractive. They're buying houses, they're employing people. We know it's an economic driver. And the business group did a huge job of organizing that. And I would like to suggest that we send a letter to the business group thanking them for their efforts in the best parade we've had for quite a while. Boat parade had more boats than they've had for a very long time. And of course, the fireworks. So.
Would you like that drafted by, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy to do a thank you note from you. Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else for public comment? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to old business. And first up on old business, we have the approval of the June 20th Board of Select Persons executive session. Take a motion to open that item.
So moved.
Moved by Barbara,
Second,
seconded by Carol. That's now open for discussion. Ben?
Yes, under the town manager report, there are updates we were discussing.
This is,
Oh,
we're doing
hold on, different
the
one.
executive session first.
Oh, I thought you were doing this.
No, we'll
We
get
will
there.
next.
So
All right.
somebody forget-
Seeing no discussion, I'll make a motion that we approve the Town of Belgrade Board of Select Persons June 2022 meeting minutes.
so moved. Or seconded.
Moved, seconded by Dan. All those in favor, Barbara?
Yes.
Carol?
Yes,
Dan?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes,
All right, 5 yeses, sorry. All right, now Denny, you're up.
Okay, this is on the minutes for the meeting.
For June
the town manager's
22
update.
meeting, yeah.
Second bullet, there is no fuel contract that we're not in July 1st. AFC will not enter into a contract until later in August, perhaps, whatever it says there, it's fine. But they will hold the propane pricing until the end of August, is what it says here. Actually, what I said was they will try to hold the propane pricing below $2. So we can know the contract. That's what, it really isn't hold the main current contract, it's hold the pricing under $2.
Okay, did anybody else notice anything else?
Yes.
Okay,
On the second page, 3 new business under new appointment. There's some words that are missing. Mr. Newman motioned to table the appointment until Stu McConnell could be present.
Yes.
And I don't think we need to say to the library trustees because it's up in the heading that he was appointed to the library trustees. But the reason we didn't vote was because he wasn't here.
okay, so eliminate to the library trustees and put in
Until
could
Stu
be,
McConnell
could be present.
And then on the next page, letter C, CFAS painting quote. I think in the second line, it's contingent on, that whole sentence didn't really make sense to me, but it's not the Board of Parks and Recreations Committee, isn't it just the Board of Parks and Rec? recreation. I don't think we need
Right.
a committee. That's confusing. Approval to take money from, so. And the approval of contractor. I don't know, just,
Of the contractor.
I think we were waiting to make sure he had insurance, wasn't it?
Right, that wording, well, not, no, it wasn't just have insurance.
No. it's
He had the
for us.
contract written in such a way that it was 50% down.
right,
Oh,
we were
agreed
gonna
to
buy
all
the
of that.
materials.
He agreed to alter that. And the two contingencies beyond the altering of that was whether the Board of Park and Recs would be willing to spend the money out of the reserve and to provide
Insurance?
well, the insurance is always there, but to come out with the painting colors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if that was in your motion, but I know that that was an issue.
So, and I think how we had phrased that too was to allow the town of Belgrade to purchase materials with the town credit card. Was the contractor going with a representative from the town of Belgrade? That's how that was.
He did
gonna
not.
work.
He nixed that whole concept. He said, I'll pay for everything up front.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
He says, I'll just put it down.
So,
Both those contingencies were made and
Disagreement.
fulfilled, and so the painting will be done tomorrow.
Super.
all right, did anybody have anything else? Seeing none, Ricky.
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Carol.
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses. Next up, we have the meeting minutes from the June 22nd Town of Belgrade Board of Select Persons meeting, executive session. We'll take a motion to open that item.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Barbara, seconded by Carol. That's open for discussion. Seeing none, I'll make a motion that we approve the Town of Belgrade Board of Select Persons meeting minutes from the June 22nd, 2022 meeting. Moved by Melanie, seconded by Carol. There's no further discussion. Ricky,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Carol.
Yes.
All right, next up, we have the Town of Belgrade Board of Select Persons, June 29, 2022. Executive session meeting. I'll take a motion to open that item.
So moved.
Moved by Carol, seconded by Barbara. That's open for discussion. Yes. And and all literally crickets. All right, so seeing no discussion, Ricky,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Carol.
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses, those are approved. All right, next up, we have the approval of the Town of Belgrade's harassment and sexual harassment policy and committee applications. Take a motion to open that item.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Barbara, seconded by Carol. That is open for discussion. Denny?
At the last meeting, there were a couple things that you wanted, you added into the policy. So if you look at the first paragraph under statement of policy, the last two sentences, it says all persons applying for the appointment or reappointment to any board or committee are required to acknowledge they have read and understand the policy. Then finally, this policy will be part of any contract given to the town of Belgrade to any vendor or service provider. And then, so we will be adding that to the service providers or vendors. We did, the third page there shows the block that people are supposed to check if they're being appointed or reappointed to the board or committee. And under that, when we get the actual final into the computer, right now it's just round. But when you approve it, sign it tonight, we'll put that in and we'll have a link, a web link there for people that can actually go to the link if they don't lose the policy on the, which is going to be attached to that.
Does it need to be in bold and as big at the bottom of that page? Or, I mean, does that,
We did that just because it was new.
Oh, 'cause it's new.
I wouldn't have problems with bright red.
okay,
Yeah, me either.
okay, fine.
I have those for the board to sign.
I move that we approve the policy as presented.
Second.
Moved by Barbara, seconded by Carol. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none. Dan,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Barbara.
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses. Thank you,
know.
folks, for all your work on that.
Has it been 6 weeks?
It's been a long time.
6 meetings?
All right, I'll take a motion to table the discussion with All States Material Group because we don't have anything for it today.
Second.
Moved by Barbara, seconded by Carol. All those in favor, Ricky,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Barbara.
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses. We will table that one. Okay, next up, we have new business. First up, we have appointments and reappointments. Take a motion, to open that item.
Second.
All right, moved by Barbara, seconded by Carol. That is open for discussion. First up, we have Peter Sargent's application for reappointment to the planning board. I will make a motion that we accept that.
Second.
Second.
By Melanie, seconded by Ricky. All right, any discussion on that? Seeing none. Dan,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses. Welcome back, Peter. All right, I'll take a motion that we table Stuart McConnell's application until he can be present.
So moved.
Moved by Carol, seconded by Barbara. All right, no further discussion. Ricky,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Barbara?
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses. That one is tabled. Okay, next we have the appointment of interim ACO Dexter Bridges. Take a motion to open that item.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. That is open for discussion. Go ahead, Denny.
Yes, as you know, Trish has resigned effective July 1st. We've notified the state because we're required to have an ACO that we're looking for one and that we are in contact with the sheriff's office and state police. They're the ones that will handle emergency calls. In this whole thing, used to Buzz or Dexter Bridges, Buzz, had been our ACO. And he was the only one I could turn to. I couldn't find anyone else in the area. I asked if he'd be willing to take an interim until we found him. And so he indicated he would be at the same rate, wouldn't be any more or whatever, but same mileage. and everything. So I thought that was the best we could do until I got to advertise for a new ACO. On Indeed, they're out. On this, all that. So we recommend that we get him until we find a new one. At least it's till December 31st anyhow, because that's when it ends, you know. It would end sooner if we found someone sooner. Just trying to get you the ACO.
So if we don't have an interim ACO and we don't find an ACO, do the state police and the sheriff's department?
Emergency calls only as they can. It's a very limited service. It's one that, as I understood, talking to folks who have done it, they don't know about it. But then again, they do it, but it's an emergency situation.
So what would constitute an emergency? Because,
Say a rabid dog,
okay,
rabid animal, immediate threat, a vicious dog. Something like that.
so I guess probably one of my hesitations with that is that as a citizen, I never knew who's on, if it's the state police or if it's the sheriff's department. Who do you call? Do you call 911? Do you call a non-emergency number? How do you access a non-emergency number? So that we know who would be on
Yeah.
for that.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how, because they switch all, you know, like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off.
Right.
Actually, it's 3 to 1 now.
Is it 3 now, 3 now?
Yeah,
So, I mean, I don't-
They're cutting back and back and back, so.
So it's-
So it's-
This is a difficult, as you know, ACOs are miserable. I mean, I know. It's a difficult job for people. And they have to have a real honest caring for animals to do the job. And there's a lot of training that goes with it. I have 3 applications that came in on Indeed, one from Florida, one from, all over with very little training. They want to, they just want a position where, they can advance. Well, it's not an advancement position, so to speak. And there's no qualifications that they have on those 3. I haven't got anything from anyone else. My experience with Buzz was essentially the same experience I've had with every ACO. I've had complaints about Buzz, I had complaints about other ACOs that were here when I was here. So, but ACOs, they're being pulled in a dozen different directions. Every one of them has got more than one town.
Right.
So, I would recommend this as an interim. I don't know what else to recommend, unless you just want to wait. Unless you want to do it. So,
Well, and I guess the only other hesitation I have is that we previously relieved this person of that position.
right,
And
I get that.
that's the fallback. that
My
we're
understanding-
here.
My understanding there was that the previous town clerk had previous town clerk had disagreements with how Buzz would address particular issues she wanted to address, the dog ones. Those are things that aren't necessarily as important in terms of high priorities that we have in town government. But that was a press that she was.
I wondered that because prior to that, we had gotten to be a little bit more of a stickler on the licensing and that. Okay,
But some of those, some of that paperwork has been relieved by the state, so that this is pressing, now as I understood, talking to Mary.
So my concern is if you guys rely on KSO and state police to be your, to cover this, we can't even get them to come do traffic control on a major scene. I called for law enforcement for the structure fire in Belgrade Lakes last week. I got nobody. We had a structure fire in Rome. We got nobody. So they can't even come handle emergency situations. How do you guys expect them to take care of animals? Then no.
Quite frankly, I think Buzz does as good a job, perhaps better than a lot of the ACOs, at least the ones I've got. So, yeah, I know the situation. What
I just
happened
was
and all
thinking
that.
what the blowback was gonna be. And so would we, I know one of the questions was, having talked to the ACO who was getting done, was what was the town of Belgrade's, what belonged to the other towns that she worked with. I think there was a heart trap that was returned. But do we know, and do we give something to the incoming interim
Well,
ACO?
we have a track here, but we purchased equipment that ACO was supposed to be passing back to the town. And I don't know what happened. Last time Buzz left, what was given, or what wasn't, I don't know. I'll find out from Buzz. But I know whenever an ACO comes in, if we haven't got the right equipment, we purchased it. And, I think the trap, the animal traffic, I forget what they call it, safe
Yeah.
trap,
Yeah, they have a heart. I think
humane
it's-
trap, or whatever.
Yeah.
I think those are the only things that we bought. We do send them to certain, classes when they need it. And it's like the clerk's job. I mean, you don't realize how much training they have to go through and how much they have to know to get where they're at, stay in the town government, to do what they do. So,
Well, and
Yeah.
honestly, to read the job description, it had been years since I had. And I think the biggest hindrance is that they have to be available 24/7, and that the biggest complaint I heard from the outgoing ACO is that she's not allowed to have a life, because you have to have coverage if you leave town. And she said, I literally felt, Melanie, like I was not allowed to take a night off.
Especially if you don't have that coverage.
And she said, nobody will cover. She said, I would call absolutely everyone. And there's not one person who's like, pick me.
Well, it's a difficult position. So.
So you may want to check, I know Livermore, Fayette, let's say Farmington, I may be wrong on Farmington, but them towns, they actually had, they have two, they have one, they kind of split it. And they've done that. for
Full-time?
years. No, it's not full-time, it's just part-time, it's a bit, same thing, they all have multiple towns. But it's gonna cost, it's an expense to the town, because you gotta pay a stipend to that person to, to cover, and then what it is whoever's the number one has to, schedule, they wanna take a vacation, schedule it with this other person. But, to do that, the town's gonna have to probably pay stipends.
Well, that's something that should be considered probably in the future, but I'm looking for an immediate need.
Right.
Seems to me as we should take what we have, if we find something that's going to work better for us, we can change it, because this allows us that flexibility.
This allows us all the flexibility we need up until December 31st. Then you have to either hire those full-time or get someone.
Yeah.
If we don't get someone before.
There's one thing that needs to be updated in the contract. The last line says it's been examined as understood by Ms. Davis
Yeah. I
rather than
noticed that
Mr.
too.
Bridges.
Oh. Can I say something? That's my error. I'll cross it out. And put that in and I'll sign what it is.
I move we approve the interim, the Buzz Bridges for the interim ACO.
I'll second it.
You can have it.
All right, moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, now, the board usually does the appointments for the animal control officer. I noticed it
So you
says,
just did, and then said I can sign it. You authorize me to sign it.
yeah, no, I just know that once a year when we do the appointments, that's usually when we do that. So I'm okay with that. Appointed annually town manager. Okay. All right. All right, Ricky, what's your pleasure?
I kind of missed some of the conversation. Does that mean,
Yeah.
is Buzz gonna be part of it? Is that what you're,
He's the interim.
He'll be the interim. He'll take
Okay.
us through the end of December unless we hire an ACO in the meantime.
okay, I'm fine with that, yes.
Okay. All right, Barbara,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses. All right, next up, we have resignations. Take a motion to open that item.
Second.
Moved by Barbara, seconded by Carol. That is open for discussion. The first resignation that we have is George Seal from the Comprehensive Plan Committee. I will make a motion to accept that resignation with regret.
Second.
Is there any further discussion on that? Seeing none. Dan,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Rick?
Yes,
All right, 5 yeses. Next up, we have Mary Vogel's resignation from the Comprehensive Plan Committee. Effective immediately, I'll make a motion that we accept that resignation as well with regret. Moved by me, seconded by Barbara. Is there any discussion? Seeing none. Barbara,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Ricky,
yes,
Dan?
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses. All right, next we have Kathy Wall's resignation from the Comprehensive Plan Review Committee. I make a motion that we accept that resignation with regret.
Yeah. Move so.
Moved and seconded. All right, is there any further discussion? Seeing none. Barbara,
Yes.
Carol,
Yes.
Rick,
yes.
Dan?
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses.
Are we accepting all of them with regret?
We are accepting all of them with
Okay,
regret and
everybody's jumping ship on comprehensive plan.
Do you want me to send a letter out?
you knew,
Would you?
you knew that's right where I was going. Thanks for finishing my thought.
Does that leave us with, a void on the comprehensive plan committee?
Well, we
We
have a
need to
couple
look
of,
at-
we have a couple of people. Kimberly,
Okay,
Yeah, it still leaves.
Kimberly and Dee Cook.
who are both new to that committee, so. I think we need to think about,
Yeah,
Who else
we
we
need
put on
to,
it?
we need to get more people on that committee because in 2023, we have to update the comprehensive plan for approval in 2024.
Let's get that on the
So that's why,
website.
so that's why they want to do something.
They're like, my job here's done.
They said, been there, done that. Because Kathy Long shared it. She
It's a-
shared
it's
it.
a big
Yeah.
Yeah,
job.
for
It's a big
several
job.
years, yeah.
It's a big job, and the question is, you have to track it, see if we're implementing the recommendations that are being made.
right, yeah, it is a big
It's a
job.
big job.
I don't want it. All right, next we have setting the mill rate for 2022. My brain was like, do. All right, take a motion to open that item.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Carol, seconded by Barbara. That is open for discussion. Is Nick available?
Nick had his father came out of the hospital today, so he's visiting his father. But I did talk to Nick quite extensively, and as you read the letter from Robbie, he's recommending to go with the 1538. It's the same as last year, as I understand it, although I didn't look at all the numbers.
This is 3
And
years
he's
ago.
recommending the overlay, given the fluctuations in budget and all that. So I talked to Nick quite a bit about it. I looked at the overlay and the calculations. I would recommend the 1538 bill rate, and probably won't do that next year, but we'll see what happens.
We'll make that motion that we keep the mill rate at 15.38.
Second.
Moved by Melanie, seconded by Dan. Any further discussion on that item? Seeing none. Rick,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
Carol?
Yes,
All right, 5 yeses. Our mill rate will stay the same. All right, next up, we have the ballot for the election to the Legislative Policy Committee. Take a motion to open that item.
so moved.
Moved by Carol, seconded by Barbara. That item is open for discussion.
So this is something that comes up every year. I don't know if you've seen it or not. I know I used to pass it out to you guys to look at, to see if you want to recommend someone, to vote on someone different. Generally, they'll have a couple names for the Legislative Policy Committee. This is a committee of municipal officials, officers, that look at all of the legislative initiatives out there and make recommendations to the body whole, the MMA. And they've recommended one person. Now, I didn't have to bring this forward to you, I suppose, but it really rightfully belongs to you, so that's why I did. There's only one person to vote for unless you have someone else that you want to write in. So,
Dan Newman.
Now, I'm legislator right now. so
I was like, you can be part of the legislative review.
I know this lady, it's there, she runs a drug rehab thing for a living, that's what she does. Nice enough to see her in a committee all the time.
There's a bio included.
Yeah, is there anyone else that we would like to nominate for that other seat?
That's what you guys want to do it.
I can't do numbers, I'm on my plate.
I know we accept the one candidate, Courtney Allen.
Second,
All right. Moved and seconded for that one.
and I got that here for you to sign as well.
Perfect. All right, next up, we have the
We need to
warrant.
do we need to
Oh,
vote?
sorry, yeah, we do. Duh. Moved and seconded. All those in favor, Barbara,
Yes.
Carol,
yes,
Dan,
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
All right, 5 yeses. Thanks for doing it, Courtney. All right, next up, we have the warrant. I'll take a motion to open that item.
so moved.
Moved by Carol, seconded by Barbara. That is open for discussion. I don't know if anybody else noticed how many entries we had for mower repairs. And there's a pretty big section from MB, and I thought they were only doing the new mower. That's where we just purchased it, and we have $610 were there for cooling fan, mower repairs, mower repairs, mower repairs.
We had a number of mowers that were down. Part of the problem with, as I understand it, part of the problem with backlog.
So
Didn't
on,
have equipment.
on the new mower, should the cooling fan be gone already?
That wasn't to do more,
That's not the new mower.
no.
So how do we differentiate between these on which mowers they are?
So we have a total of 4 mowers.
Okay,
Except the mower, 3 walkers. And I would determine, but we probably ought to maybe come up with a number system.
Well, I would assume that they're town equipment, so it should be in the file as a number.
I don't know how that, I mean,
I don't know if
we determine them from the age. That's how we
yeah,
determine
you
them.
know, and
Or just
maybe
give
if
them a
we,
number,
Yeah.
It's like you do forklifts.
and
1, 2, 3.
maybe
4.
a number and what year we, you know, so that we can keep a,
That's all part of our inventory line. That should all be there. I'll have to look at the inventory line and see where that's at.
But some of that is backlog mode and unfortunately, some of the maintenance sort of being kept up as well as it probably should have.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a lot. I mean, I did, it was just,
Where else would we get that work done?
That's it. If they are a union farm, that's a lot closer to go to Fairfield than to union farm.
because we have Union Farm for 150. We've got Ron's Auto Electric for 238.09. We've got Power Equipment Plus for 1996. We have MB Tractor for 610. So that another-
Does get
Well,
maintenance when it's supposed to.
I
It's
mean,
not
is
gonna
this all
keep working.
maintenance or is this,
Just repairs and.
is this we're
maintenance.
whacking stuff and,
Whacking stuff up. You drop up against 1,000 stones every week, and it doesn't take long for things to wear out. Right. I mean, those mowers go for a lot of mowers. You guys have also added a ton of mowing to them machines. The machines, when they first were bought, and initially bought to basically mow the cemetery, mow this problem. Now you guys got,
well, Center for
And-
Seasons.
yeah, there's
And
not
the
much there,
parks.
but you guys have added the
Library.
ball field, the library, the village green. So you've added a lot of hours to these machines. A lot more
Well, the
hours.
new one that we just purchased was already in anticipation of that. Nothing else
No, that
was.
new one is for the cemetery only. That was bought for one. So that has to stay at the cemetery
Okay.
exclusively. There's 2 machines that's supposed to be at the cemetery exclusively. So it's bought for one.
Scott has done a lot of repairs to those mowers. There was a couple of them that was overheating, and you cannot run them overheating a diesel engine. It's gonna cook it. So they spent some money
So-
getting it going.
So that's the one with the cooling fan then that was replaced?
Probably. I don't know for sure. He just told me he's been putting parts in steady, getting them up to snuff again.
Just know as I was going through this, I was like, more repair, more repair, more repair, more repair. And I was like, oh, several locations too. So then I put my big thing like, is this the new one?
No, no one's not, the new one's not even on that list, so. That's still, I think, I don't want to keep it around.
Looks like it's another project for the new
Only for a
facilities
month.
manager to get under control.
Well, that's something that later on discussion,
Right.
that's a 2-person job, not a 1-person job.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, the manager needs to get that under control, whether it's farmed out or how it's done.
So the other thing that I wanted to notice is, did anybody see 8 Dalton's electricity bill this month? Was $27.95. It was not 700, it was not 400, it was $27, which kind of tells you what the baseline is.
Well, there was a squirrel in the toilet. Some of that.
Oh,
All animal control.
Right,
yeah.
I think I was right on the first assumption that I made when I saw that light bill.
yeah, that was crazy. Okay,
There's still no rental there. I'll follow up on that last week.
so even though we said yes to a cat,
We didn't say yes to that or that. You said you could if you wanted to do more.
right, if you wanted to do a pet thing, you could do a cat.
There are a lot of people looking for rentals, so do we know what the big drawback is? Is it
I'm
the-
going to call up tomorrow because I'm surprised. It's $1,800 with access to that. Which I thought.
That's reasonable.
used to
I
be
know,
60.
yeah, I know a couple of people who have looked at it and just felt it was
Too much?
too much for the quality, in good shape, but that needs too much work and it's, you know, we're gonna pay
Well, we got the
$800
roof that
on
we
it
have to
better.
get going. Need to-
I don't know what the interior looks like,
Yes,
but-
for,
so,
Well, I haven't been in it in 3 years, so I don't know.
I know we were kind of talking about wanting to, while stuff is empty,
When are we
and,
gonna have our tour?
right, do like a tour of all the town facilities for the whole board.
If you'd like to do that, just let me know while I'm here. We'll do it.
Sounds good.
Let's do it.
Put that on your agenda,
hopefully,
Danny.
No, I have it on for her.
Yeah.
For her, I'm sorry.
Ms. Jones.
Carol. I wanted to see them before we do interviews, so I'm gonna try to schedule
Well,
time for
I'll go
tomorrow.
with you. Let me know when you're going.
Yeah. I will
We
too.
just have to set a time tonight that we can do it.
Just let me know.
Well, we'll set it to ours tonight,
Oh, for tomorrow?
for tomorrow.
Tomorrow I can't because the way it works at my work is if you get a day off, you pay for it with your day off. So I will be working my full day tomorrow. But I thoroughly enjoyed having yesterday off. So is there anything else? I noticed 550 to move Trio to the new server. So, and is that not covered? So we purchased the server with our IT company.
Because I asked her the same question. Right, or Nick. It's our obligation.
Okay. Is there
As I
anything, is there
understand.
anything else that we're gonna be obligated to put on the new server that was recommended to us that we needed to purchase?
Well, we probably did need to purchase it. And I think everyone was caught by this change, this requirement to move to that server, but I'm not aware of it.
Is it possible, Denny, that we just take a look at that contract?
The
That
MTG,
yeah, the one that we just recently signed with them, just to be sure that if there's something that's not our responsibility to be paying additionally for.
okay, so that's the main technology group contract. with the
Yes.
Trio.
Yeah. Because I would assume our IT person would be doing that. So did we pay Trio to do this? Or did we pay our IT
Let me-
company to
well, I
do the
think those-
transfer? Harris Computer Systems.
you know, which is Trio.
So that's Trio specifically. Okay. How's the situation? Oh, so one other thing I just wanted to, I meant to actually go back and look at Pike's contract. I just want to see, it looks like we're paying them $432,269.51. So did they execute any sort of
Yes, they did.
estimator? Yeah,
16,380. You got it, I think. 16,000,
oh, asphalt adjustment,
be right.
16,492.72.
there'll be one other, I think there's another 80 part of it.
Yeah. I mean,
Because they
that's
thought it
what-
was
they told
gonna
us
be
about
around
16,000 last time.
32,000 total, right? 16 and then possibly another 16.
And then, that's something that the road committee, the Newtown manager should make sure that they keep. And Jason, well, I'm sure will keep. That's something that we have to kind of project out, look at what the asphalt prices are doing, what the economy is, and make your best guess. but then add that in as a possibility if it's way up high. Normally, it doesn't matter. Normally, it doesn't matter. This year, because of because of the price of oil, they have these new cracking technologies, like they had developed back in 2010. But they crack now. Need gasoline, got prices that are going up, they go where the money is. That's why the asphalt prices.
Denny, there is for one of the heavy rains, there's a bit of a washout, for lack of a better word, right at the intersection of School Street and Hewland Road.
Oh, I was
And
just
the
there today, I've got pictures, I talked to Jason about. it.
Okay, all right.
You're talking about Red Oak Lodge Road?
Well, not Red Oak Lodge, Hewland. So when you come down from Main Street, you come down and School Street intersects, right there.
Okay, right there, I did not see that. I was up there on the road, a couple other issues.
Yeah, and there's a pretty big washout right there, so.
Yeah, well, there's a few of them down the west road.
I was just gonna
I came-
say,
I came
like the
home the
West
other-
Road
I came
ones.
home the other night and had to stop because there was a car sitting in the ditch with 4-way flashes on. I think they hit close to the edge, got into the washout.
Yeah.
Pulled them right off, sucked them right off the road.
That or- or-
Yes,
So is
that's
that the
terrible over here.
responsibility
That's
of
road.
Town.
road commissioner? Okay,
Probably ought to have one wander around the road, look, and see what needs to be fixed.
I'll talk in tomorrow.
thanks, Denny.
I want us to keep an eye on the new pavement at the end of the Minot Hill Road where it intersects with the Depot Road. Because with the revamped construction and the lawn area there from the Hammond's property, that runoff that was created washed out that end of the road this spring. So we had some pretty big washouts there from that. And I'm just with the new pavement there, I want to be sure that that's not compromised from the angle of that runoff. And if so, what needs to be done so that that doesn't continue happening?
Well, and with all the clearing that they're doing the depot, I hadn't been down there for a while.
Right.
Like
That's,
that, there may be a lot of runoff coming
Yeah.
down onto Depot Road where they're clearing all those trees.
right. So we just want to keep an eye on that.
Do we need to approve the warrant?
And we do.
Did we vote?
And
No, you do.
do you have like the number, Denny, like the actual? We didn't take anything out of it, so we should be all set with having it be the same number and amount.
This is in your work.
Yeah, do you have the one to sign?
I was given, no, I have not. I don't think, unless it's right in here. I thought it was not for you guys. No, I didn't really have to work to sign. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Oh, is that
So
the
we'll-
signature page on
Mine has a
it?
signature.
We can just
Yeah,
sign
we
one of
can
those.
use,
No,
yeah,
that's why, no, that's why.
well, because usually they have it all clipped together
You
with
do,
that one.
Unless
on
they
the
collect
top.
it in my office, and I didn't pick it up, and I do not see it.
We'll just sign this one.
Okay, so the warrant is warrant number 74, and the total amount of $1,062,514.02.
So,
Second.
Moved and second.
I don't know if I want to sign them.
No.
Everybody applies.
It's like shutting off the pump.
We're gonna start shutting off light switches on here.
Did you find anything, Denny?
I did,
You did.
sorry about that.
That's it. So I'll get rid of this one.
You gotta forgive him a little bit, or maybe not.
Always.
There's usually one without punch holes in it.
Yes. We'll do this one. All right, there's no further discussion. Ricky,
Yes,
Dan,
Yes,
Carol,
Yes,
Barbara?
yes,
All right, 5 yeses, that warrant will go through. All right. Jenny, town manager updates? Yep, I got the whole kit and caboodle here.
I can grab that.
Want the rest of it? Back.
Oh, you're finished signing.
We're gonna have to sign it first. Speedy Gonzalez over there.
Okay, just quickly on updates. First thing I'm gonna, I failed to let Barry know that you wanted the summer program. The summer
seasonal.
Seasonal
Residents
residents
meeting.
meeting.
On the agenda for discussion because the date's coming up and little has been done to advertise it for it. So I thought I'd bring that up now and give you an opportunity to let me know how you wanted to deal with it.
So we'd like to pick a date in August.
Yeah, the July 13th meeting is for the ARPA hearing. That's been advertised as the ARPA hearing, not as a seasonal resident meeting. So we need another date for the seasonal resident meeting.
First, you see the accident page.
Yeah, must be just carried here.
So we need. And then we need to send something out to all of the department heads requesting their participation.
And I would strongly urge that we not just have department heads talk at the other 20 individuals, that we introduce them and just let people ask questions.
So that's August 20th.
That's a
August
Saturday.
20th,
Saturday.
I will be going,
What's on August 20th?
my vacation.
The Selectboard meeting that day.
Do we usually do it on a Saturday?
No, it's
I
usually
didn't
a
think so.
Wednesday night.
Do we want to do the 10th or the 7th? Let's see. So we'll have a
It's-
meeting on the 2nd and a meeting on the 16th. Do we?
I
wanna-
say maybe the 10th. Because you will get some summer residents that are beginning to think about going back if they've got kids that are getting into school. So,
How's the 10th work for folks?
So that works for me.
Does that work okay for you, Barbara?
Yeah. should be.
And Carol, that okay
that
for
works for
yours?
me, yeah.
Okay, so, oh. And
At
what,
what time?
so I was just gonna say, do we want to do 6:30 or
6:30.
6:30?
So seasonal residents meeting.
At the Center for All Seasons? Or at the town? We were gonna do
I
it
think
here before, because, so we could
We
zoom
can
it,
zoom
right?
yeah.
Then people could Zoom if they wanted to.
So what we'll want to do is we'll need to make sure that we have the meeting all set up.
That's a cleaning night, so we need to alert the cleaning people, right?
She's so
For the
used to
summer
it.
residents meeting,
Right.
you normally hold that at the Center for All Seasons.
Yeah, but we want to be able to zoom it so people can just.
Oh, okay.
It's been here last year.
Well, because of COVID last year, but probably gonna have, if you have all your department heads here and your board, you're gonna, and then you have people that do show up from the public, you're gonna be pretty tight.
That's true.
Oh, you're gonna be more than.
Yeah, you're gonna be, you don't have enough room.
I think you'll exceed the fire.
Then I guess we need to change the location and we won't be able to Zoom it, right? What would it, no,
We'll have to
what would
make
it
sure
take to
that,
be able to Zoom?
You need the internet at a pretty high level.
I think it is still, Nick would be one that's.
You can ask them if it's possible, if it's not. it's not.
Yeah,
and we've got to make sure that the Center for All Seasons is open that
That's August
evening,
20th.
August
10th.
10th.
We gotta get.
The only thing on the calendar so far is pickleball. That morning.
Morning, right. Oh, pickleball morning.
So Denny, do you want to check with Dan to put that on the calendar? Because I know
Yeah.
we're not supposed to step over anything. So make sure that's available. And I put for alerts. All right, that's in. And A.
Okay. so
Yeah.
We've got that all August 10th at 4. Right?
6:30.
So the next thing, just wanted to let you know that we got our certification requirements for the LRAP money, which was in Article 20. So I certified that we indeed did spend that, I'm spending it. I wrote that. Saltwell update. I said earlier that I contacted Jim Billings, the DOT attorney. I should be getting something before the end of this week. He's going to be meeting with his paralegal on the draft that she's come up with the updated draft, and we'll see what happens there. I did mention that Barbara Alley talked to me about the problems and the expense that she had gone through. I was wondering if there was something that could be done about that. I talked to Dale Dye. He said, oh yeah, we just have them keep the receipts and we'll work that through, contact me and all of that, and then we'll be able to help her with that. But he did offer the following observation, that there's been few people who actually come forward with requests for assistance because of their appliances or well tanks or whatever being corroded due to the salt corrosion. And he noted that that might be due to the lack of information out there about it. So it's something I can put out if you want to those families that are impacted that we know, or we should just let it go. And Bruce was saying that, you know, they're gonna have problems all the way through if the things are working until it goes maybe.
Yeah, that's
Until-
kind of where my thought was, because otherwise we
Unless it
might be
fails,
replacing
leave it.
them and
Right,
As
then,
long as it doesn't.
re-replacing
cause further damage.
Right, as long as it's not failing, don't replace it.
I mean, if we replace it now and then it's another 2 or 3 years, then we may have to replace what we
Replace it
replaced.
again.
We're probably gonna have to replace them all when we do the SWAT system.
Right, so if we can live through without,
Okay, I just wanted to raise that issue because that was.
Something fails and somebody comes to us,
If they have certain.
then we'll pay out
problems,
for it if we have to.
I know it was one of his, he's pretty expensive. He's trying to hold off for the new horses.
Okay. The Belgrade Historical Society will be here on the 19th. We did talk to them about the possibility of using one of the bays at the Dalton Garage area. I met Rod down there, who's somewhat confused about it, so I said, well, come to the board and so that'll be on the 19th. Safety inspection reports were received today. There's a total of $5,600 in proposed penalty. 3,500, 3,500 at the fire station, 2,100, whatever adds up to 56. 2,100 with the maintenance facilities. Most of the items have been fixed. There's some paperwork items that have to be brought up to date. I'm working with Lynn Gilly. Ken Cheno is working with Lynn, and I'll be working with her as well. We'll be working to see whether or not we can get the rest of the penalty abated or tossed out, because the argument should be, one, we were very quick to fix it. Two, we've hired a safety consultant and are spending money on the safety consultant to keep us from failing again.
I'm surprised the fire department had that kind of.
He's in the middle of doing paperwork from Super Sunday.
They got 3 days after the Super Sunday, they had the problem. They had the inspection, which they hadn't had a chance to catch up on the 3 individuals that were.
And they
Were identified.
picked the 3 individuals. I figured out how they get the 3 individuals.
So anyhow, we'll work through that, and I think that it's similar to the last time we were fine, that we'll see the penalty go away. That's my hope. So it's 15, we have to respond 15 days from today. Lynn's got that covered, and we can ask for more time if we need it, and then we can ask for an appeal to find what we need. Okay. I've got a draft request for proposals, very simple request for proposals to finish the garage. Basically to do the exterior vinyl, put the doors in, and to put insulation in if we can do that. I don't know who to put that out, we're gonna put it out on public, but if anyone knows of anyone that would do that kind of work, that'd be great. We have somewhere around $60,000 available to work with.
Might wouldn't hurt, just go down to Ham Lumber, and just get a list of contractors. They'll give you a list of
Oh, that's a
contractors.
good idea.
now, in relation to that garage, Denny, and looking over some old meeting minutes from cemetery committee, and that one of the things that was noted was that stuff wasn't lining up properly on that building. So if we hire a contractor to come in and finish that building, are we going to be backtracking over some things?
I had not heard about any
I think
problems.
they got fixed in the contract being with trusses. I
I
told you,
hadn't heard anything about that.
Scott would be the one to ask.
Yeah, he did mention that to me because I had him look at the proposals.
Scott and
And there was a question about whether it needed another exit door. I talked to Richard, he didn't think so, and he's gonna check that out, and he could see the reason, so.
Wouldn't our safety person also know if it needed a door? An extra door?
Len would be the one to
Oh,
ask
yeah,
him that.
that's a good thing about.
An extra exit, you know,
Actually, they're gonna be connected.
This is the time to put it in right now.
That garage door.
It's just a door, regular door.
Yeah, what I was just saying, the old new building, if you had another entry door just to go into that one, then you got another exit door.
Yeah,
So I just didn't know if you can go back and forth from one. to
you
the other.
will be able to be, wow, if we have a garage door. I don't know, because the garage door is gonna be closed between the two buildings, that's the plan.
Well, there is a door that goes between the two buildings right now. Then you have the 3 bays.
Yeah, it's a garage door, but it was small garage.
Okay, so that's it. The other thing is, I'll be looking for someone to finish the roof. Now, that was started, and apparently the question is whether someone would take that job on, knowing that someone else had started it, and they might take on the liability of any problems that would cause.
I'd call ABL Roofing,
Who?
ABL Roofing in Gardner. Do they end up doing yours? ABL?
There's another one. I can't think of it.
ADL.
ABL.
Yeah, whatever they are, whatever nationality was, they sent out, they sent a crew. that wasn't very good this time.
So anyhow, it's just two of those issues that Chris was trying to get done on his own way, but it's best just to get it taken care of.
Denny, write this number down for them, 975-5221. The gentleman's name is Tom.
Okay, very good.
The owner will, if they do something wrong.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have that back.
Yeah, he was like, Mel, you have any issues, you call me, and we'll be right back over, which,
Okay, the next, I've got some good news.
Good.
Very
It's like
good.
good.
We need good news, yeah.
Deb Nichols, who is our clerk, just received her, was awarded her lifetime certification as a Maine certified clerk of Maine by the Maine Town and Cities Clerk Association. So I thought that was
nice.
super. It takes a lot of work. I don't think, or I don't know if all of you, I know some of you do, but all of you know how much training a clerk really needs to do that job properly, efficiency, without error. It's just a tremendous amount of training. I don't think you can be appreciative enough of the two that we have now. I would like to think we could get Deb to sign up full time, but she's not there yet. So, but it takes a huge amount of work, and she really, well, Mary's a certified clerk too. She got that 2 years ago, but it's just a huge amount of work, and I think we owe them a good round of applause for that.
We have
How about a
phenomenal-
letter of congratulations from the select board on behalf of the town?
Okay. Okay, so I only got a few letters.
Do you have any more good news? You can have more work?
I'm always glad to get the good news out.
That's,
Really am.
that's wonderful.
And,
Any-
So,
Any,
with
up-
that, I have
and-
nothing,
any update on the repairs to the other roll-up window?
they should be coming tomorrow. I'm sorry, I didn't. say that. That's all right, I can see. I didn't need to. I just-
Yeah, the first one.
They said someone the first time.
Wow.
You can't even force it. The first person that came down there, he was. I said, well, don't you do this or that? Did you look at the? He says, I've never really been trained on these. So I'm really arguing tomorrow, or I will call up the office and say, I am not paying for that 2 hours. That they can't
Right.
have. And if we continue having problems with these doors, you might consider the kind of contract that we had the first year we had. We had a contract for the first 2 years, I can't remember, but we had a contract that essentially limited their hourly costs and all that. Because an emergency call on those doors is $340, or not, for the first hour.
You're on the wrong line of work.
Say,
Me
can
too,
we
apparently.
sign up for a group?
And then I can be like, yeah, I don't really know. I haven't been trained.
So, yeah, I understand that we've had a few problems with those doors this spring, so.
I think the one for animal control officer. That's
I'll
just,
I'll change that, I'm sorry. You've already approved it.
I know, but it just says,
Distance melodies.
Yeah, that's the one
It
that
just says
Denny's,
it- this
yeah,
is
Denny's
addition.
can sign it.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't have to sign that.
and the
Right.
franchise agreement, we don't sign. We don't have to sign.
No, you all signed the franchise. No, I guess it's just Melanie, I'm sorry. Melanie and me, or just me.
Yeah, I thought it was usually the whole
Okay.
board would sign.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on, depends on some of the stuff.
Yeah, I remember looking at that and
That-
thinking,
That other one we were looking at the other day, Kennebec County, whatever it was, it's you and town man.
Yeah, this one calls for the signature of the town representative, so I can sign it. I didn't know-
because
I
sometimes I
signed
like
all the
looking
rest.
back on those and being like, no, Dad, I wasn't on
And
the
this
board.
is just-
I just changed that. Yeah, I'll sign it.
Night,
Go ahead.
Bruce, thank you.
Night, Bruce,
Address,
thank you.
alright.
Sorry, give you something.
That's okay. That's
So I wanted, this isn't public comment, but I figured, I went to the KB cog meeting. And they would like for someone to go in September as well. But there are a couple of grants that what I'd like to do is maybe copy them and just give these out. You had sent something, Denny, out for one of them, and I had meant to bring this to us. There's $50,000 and $100,000 that are available.
And I think I forwarded an email on that.
You did. So there is Main Infrastructure Adaptation Fund. And this is municipalities, tribes, state agencies, up to 10,000 to support project scoping, 75 for project design, 4 million to support project implementation. To help Maine communities adapt critical drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater infrastructure to reduce vulnerability to climate impacts, such as extreme weather, sea level rise, inland and coastal flooding, and severe heat. So kind of, my brain was kind of going where we have the erosion issues and things like that when there's storms, if that is something that we may want to look into. And the other thing, collaborative proposals by 2 or more communities. That was essentially like partnering with other communities for regional planning, nonprofits, private entities. 2 to 5 communities to enroll in a partnership, conduct robust community engagement to set energy and climate priorities, and to help communities apply for community action grants or other funding to implement those priority projects.
Would
So
that-
water quality.
to assist communities in reducing energy use and cost, transitioning to clean energy, and making communities more resilient to climate change effects, e.g. extreme flooding, extreme weather, flooding, rising sea levels, public health impacts, etc. So there are a couple of grant opportunities that,
Would that, I'm just thinking, we've kicked it around before of maybe maybe having a code enforcement officer that we share with Rome and maybe Mount Vernon because they're on our lakes.
right,
And we have a code enforcement officer that does waterfront, and then there's a code enforcement officer who does the other stuff. So that we can make sure that as far as erosion control, flooding, all of that, we have one person so consistently from town to town to town on our lakes that we're the same. And if that would work, that would be a great way to try to structure that.
But, yeah, there was an approach that when I was on the board for the Lakes Alliance, Southern Lakes Alliance, that I thought that the lakes might want to move forward with the other communities, with every talk about the development of a watershed district, a Belgrade Lakes watershed district, which is where then that district would take ownership of code enforcement on the lakes. But that's a long-term project. I don't know where they're at or if they're continuing to move forward on that. But that's one project that we do. The other thing that I meant to mention that I just did put my page over on my town manager updates is you have a contract to plow and salt and sand the roads until 2024. It's
Coming right
2
up.
years from now. You have, no one has, at least as far back as I can remember, into 2010. So no one else has sent in a proposal to do that job. There was discussion in 2017 and 18 that I had about this problem. Perhaps you might want to look at developing a solution. It could be a public works department or whatever, which is very expensive to do, but you've got 2 years to think about that unless you think you can get another contract to go another 2 or 3 years. Now, the Warren Brothers had told me they were going to do one more year after the one I signed 3 years ago. One more term, which is 3 years, which I think they just signed last year. I don't know where you guys want to go with that, but it's one of those high priority issues.
Yeah.
That could be resolved simply, or it's gonna take.
I think the roads committee is also supposed to be working on.
Well, the last communication I had to the roads committee was put that on the agenda for discussion. I don't want to get too involved in that. Something that really the town should be following. I'm gonna leave a list.
I was gonna say, put that on the list.
My
for the
priority
person.
for the town before I'll be gone next week. I'm sorry, I thought I was gonna be able to make that.
Oh, yeah.
I just won't be able to. But I'll be gone next week. One of those things that I told you I was working on, so. I will be in contact with Mary, available that way, but pretty much out of work. The following week, I will be in the office Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's the board meeting. And then the other weeks that I work will be Wednesday, Thursday. So that's the days I'll be in the office. Tuesday and Wednesday are board meetings, and Wednesday and Thursday. And the last day I'll be the 29th, although I'll be available until. Then we'll be going with my constable.
Spend the money on fuel.
Yeah, but the prices are coming down.
A little.
Hey, you might want to just follow the G.
I think I'll just buy my fuel and a lot of.
All right, so if
There's
Danny is
always-
all set there, then I'll take a motion to exit the select board meeting,
So
Second,
7:58. I will take a motion to enter executive sorry, all those in favor? Barbara,
Yes.
Carol,
yes.
Dan,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
all right, 5 yeses.
Is there any need for me to be in?
And
I mean, it's not, you think I have to.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you're free. Run like the wind.